Well, hello there. Welcome to day 27. Donald Trump, you are fired. Protest campaign. Oh, it's a little later tonight than I wanted it to be, but I'm gonna try to laser focus this one and be quick. I have a little list actually, which I should have closer to me. Um, Couple of things. My shirt, if you're wondering, it says the struggle is real. I don't think you can see the is real, but I just it's it's like a waterfall of appalling things. They got a video now of Marco Rubio on camera. I don't know from when, and he's one of these, you know, fools that does not understand what a terrible example you're setting, that you are headed for classroom textbooks of tomorrow in the worst possible way. Like I've said it before, there's no brighter future in which these people are not just, there's a whole, section on the mid 20 teens to 2020s. They just don't understand. They don't get it. They think only in terms of, like, I think money and power and what can they get for themselves. They're really foolish people. Just like anybody who thinks that they can steal and get away with it. Like, that's very foolish. I don't know what it is about it's really true. And Pink Floyd was right. Money is the root of all evil today. You give somebody enough money and they haven't done enough work on themselves, spiritually, I mean, work on their inner life. Like I've been saying about compassion, they might be aware of others' suffering, but they're not seeking to relieve it, or they're indiscriminately just dumping money into charities, but they're not aware what it's really like. They lose something inside of them dies, something tender, and they just become like spoiled brats. It's horrible. But they got this video of this guy now, and he's like, very obviously, it looks like, to me, in my opinion, I'm allowed to say this, I'm allowed to have opinion, it's protected under the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. It looks like he's on cocaine. I mean, like, if you've ever been around someone who's done cocaine or tried cocaine yourself, you kind of know what it's like. And just his body language, and he's and he's like, his mouth is dry, and he's licking his lips, and then he's like, rubbing his nose, and then he's like drinking water, and he's like this, and he's like, when he's trying to listen, and it's like, bro, you're on coke. Like, you look a lot like someone who's on coke. I got a short story that I've been writing for a long time, and it's part of my second book. I have a hard time finishing things. Long story. I'm trying to get my first one done because it's mostly my sonnets. Well, it's nonfiction, and then it's my sonnets, but my second book is a book of short stories and poetry. Some of the sonnets are dedicated to the second book, and I've been working on it for like 10 years. And I've mostly been doing all this legal stuff for like the last 9 years. So anyway, but these kids, for someone's 19th birthday, they like wind up like in a penthouse suite in a hotel in downtown LA with like a large amount of cocaine, and this kid ends up getting a larger dose of reality that night than he's expecting to get. So it's supposed to be a cautionary tale about an episodic story in the life development of a young man. I'm drinking a non-alcoholic beer, by the way. It really is non-alcoholic. So I don't know, if you're not outraged by this, I would scratch my head or my nose and wonder, like, I understand outrage makes some people, stress paralyzes people. I feel that way. That happens to me. I understand that. I know some people, their fight or flight response makes them freeze up, and they can't do anything. I understand that. I mean, Oh, have you seen the first Alien film? There's this really, really frustrating and difficult scene to watch where somebody can't move, and this creature is, coming, and it's like you've got to be kidding, and they're like, get out of the way! It's like it's like you've got to be kidding me. That's very real. That happens to people, and the person is like, I can't, like, I get that, but that's why I'm saying, like guys, like, it's so important to have some sort of a self-care regimen right now. Gym, yoga, meditation, these are really important, and if that's the least that you can do, okay, it's all right. Your best is good enough. But doing nothing about this is very challenging right now, because it was doing nothing about this for long enough that led to this happening. And I said last night, I mentioned this, and I said day one, like, this is like, I feel like this is Trump's last line of defense. Like, he's like he's like some video game villain, and he had all these weapons or something, or this, and you have to fight him in phases. They talk about game villains in phases, or, oh boy, if you've ever played Elden Ring, there's this one extremely difficult boss named Millennia. Not Melania. Millennia, who heals every time she connects with you, even if you block. And it's like, what? You got to be kidding me. I had to beat this game by this fight by overwhelming the boss, just like tanking it and doing so much damage so quickly, that the amount of healing that happened. And then once I thought I won, there's this transformation that happens, and I was just like, no. Oh no, and it's way, way worse. And so that's what I'm saying, is like, we've gotten like to the end of like the second or third phase of this fight. Or if you've ever played Sekiro, this is epic, possibly one of the most wonderful, climactic battles, like in this field of long grass against Ishin, Sword Saint. And man, the first time I was playing that, my cousin had bought it during COVID. And I was through the first phase, and then he pulls out this enormous spear, and I was running for my life, like, oh boy, like, oh man, and like, because he could like hit the ground and swing on it, and like has his sword in his other hand, and you're like, oh man. And then if that isn't bad enough, then the next time he starts throwing lightning at you. And anyway, I do occasionally, splurge occasionally, but I tend to just like play through and crush them, and then I won't play them for like years. But anyway, I feel like we're at the last line of Trump's defense. Like, he's really, really coming apart now. I can only imagine the string of curse words that came out of his mouth when he saw the Iran Lego video, which, if you haven't seen it, it's glorious. Bravo to you, Iran. Thank you. Thank you for helping us, nation of Iran. My heart goes out to all of you. What they're doing to you right now is awful, and this is not who we are as a people. I would like to say that to the nation of Iran from an American citizen, someone who's born in this country. I apologize on behalf of the United States of America to the nation of Iran today, because that's not who we are. What's happening is an aberration. Trump is an abomination, and you are aware of that. A lot of us are aware of that. We're doing something about it. We're sorry. We have an education problem here. That's what it comes down to. I've said it before. And that's what I also want to touch on tonight. Nice segue there. I said this last night, I think if I could change one thing about education in this country, I would do a mandatory gap year program, because we should, in order to stop this from happening before. See, when I get tired, I tend to dance around, and I can digress and then go off on some tangent. I forget where I was originally going. But in order to stop this from happening, if we had this mandatory gap year program, and if you're like born in this area, you have to like leave your community. That's the main idea. Is you can go somewhere else in the country. If you don't want to leave the country, it's fine, but you have to go somewhere else, and you have to see yourself. Like, you can't, we would have to have some sort of safeguard in place. We can't have like a group of like 12 or 15 or 20, 25 friends all go together. That's not going to work. a couple of people, if they wanted to go, all right, fine. Your parents might freak out otherwise. We'll work it out. Details like that don't matter right now. In theory, this is a great idea. It would be difficult in practice. Just like when I went on foreign exchange, my high school had no idea what was going on because they hadn't done that in over 25 years. There was no one in the staff that could almost remember what this was like because it was so long ago. And they said you might have to repeat a year here, and I did. Because I got over to Japan, and when I got into my Japanese high school in Hiroshima, they said, well, we have students go all over the world, and usually they get credit back here for their studies abroad, but we're not going to do that for you. And I was kind of like, okay, why? And they said, because that's how we do things here. And I just didn't understand at the time. That's how it is in Japan. It's okay. It's just a different way. But in Japan, there are certain situations where they will just say, because that's how Japanese people do things. And you have to just be like, okay, all right, I get it. I respect. I'm in your country. Let's do that. It was great for me because I got to take time. I didn't have to have homework. I didn't have tests. I got to read Lord of the Rings, I got to read Moby Dick, I got to read Dracula, I got to conduct my own course of study, take what classes I want, journal, start to process my grief from early life trauma. It was wonderful for me. And it would be wonderful for a lot of people. I tell people, if you can do foreign exchange, do it. It's fantastic. If you can go live somewhere else, go live somewhere else. Do it. It's fantastic. It will help you, and it would help this problem not happen ever again. Because this xenophobia stuff is a product of poor education. And we have horrible, almost demonic entities in our midst, like Fox News, not pulling punches anymore here, that are playing to these fears and going after these talking points, and people will have this on, and it's just like it's poisoning their minds, and they don't realize it. I had a cousin in the last few years, one of my closest cousins, in fact, the only other artist in my family, I'm just nonchalantly one day said to me, "Have you ever read Breitbart?" And I was just like, "What? No." And I went out of my way to tell this person, like, please, that's like the worst possible thing you could put into your mind. That is so poisonous. It's run by really messed up people, in my opinion, that are trying to get this to fear monger and play on our fear of each other, and so that they don't seem, they're either too stupid or they've lost their way morally, and they don't realize what they're doing. They don't, maybe they do, and it's even worse if they know what they're doing, but it's the labels and throwing out these divisive labels that do not help our country unify and come back together. We should start to shine a light on organizations like Fox News, because Fox News is a really terrible news organization. There are people that have broken from it now and are starting to like wake up. I mean, I'm on some level, I'm not a huge fan, but I'm proud of, like, I can't even believe I'm going to say this. I'm a little bit, to some extent, reasonable, small extent, I am a little bit like, I'd like a gently pat Tucker Carlson on the back, like, okay, you are not completely lost. That's great. He has, I think, stepped away from them as far as I can tell, and he started to stand up for some set of principles. That's great. I'm a little, I'd like to gently, well, she's a woman, maybe not, but I'd like to gently, like, maybe give a little thumbs up to Marjorie Taylor Greene. What happened to her was horrible. Woke her up, and she stepped away and was like, yeah, he sucks. Like, I don't like him. Let's speak out against this. This is not okay. Some people are raised in this culture and have grown up and lived their lives watching things like that, and they don't understand what a damage it does to their minds. And suddenly they're looking at people like, we got to get these immigrants out of here. It's this big problem. And every time they see someone with different colored skin, they're like a cat. You take a house cat outside, it will freak out. And it will be like latched to the ground. You can't even, like, you'll be dragging it on its claws trying to take it on a walk. It's very much like that. I'm not trying to call people house cats. Again, it's hyperbole. It's an exaggeration to prove a point. But if you bring another cat into the house cat's smell zone, what will happen? The house cat will attack it. I have seen this happen. I had a cat who was lost during COVID. Long story, is really heartbreaking for me every day still. I miss him a lot. Or right before COVID. It was a freak accident. Anyway, it's no one's fault really. But it was my fault, if anyone. This is my responsibility. But anyway, I brought him back up to family's place where his siblings had all been rescued by my aunt. And I thought it would be fine. I brought him back to visit like a couple months later. And I remember we were in there and he was on the bed and it was like, okay, and here came his siblings and they came in and they like were, sort of creeping over, and then like they got on the bed and they smelled him, and all of a sudden they just started coming in with haymakers and like attacked him. And I had covered him and protected him, and I got cut, and suddenly my blood was on him, and I had to grab his siblings like as gently as I could, but chuck them out of the room, like just pick them up and like toss them gently, not trying to hurt them at all, but like get them out of there and go shut the door, because I didn't realize that was going to happen. But that can happen to people, and it does, and it has here. A human being is a human being. No matter what we look like, we all feel the same fear and hate and hope and joy and sorrow and happiness, and deep down we're all the same. And that's what going to school on 3 continents and traveling the world, well, not much since I got back from school. I haven't left this country in a long time now, but it's okay. The universe had other plans. I want to try to keep these short, but there's just so much to say. I care so much. Nice segue again. Here we go. I've said before on this campaign that let's counterbalance all our thinking about the worst with imagining, just giving ourselves a chance to believe it's going to work out exactly as we hope. That's healthy. A friend told me about that. Encouraged me to do that. Not live in the fantasy all the time, but balance it. Balance all this, doom scrolling and all that we do. Imagine it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. This is a natural process. Many species go through this out in the universe. I think in hindsight, we will call this ascension. We're ascending out of this warmongering age. All of my art, all of it, has always come out better than I expected since I was a child. Every bit of it. Every single thing I have ever done has come out better than and it's been a strange and beautiful experience. I tell myself when I hit a point, sometimes with a writing project, I'll say I get to a point, like when I wrote the feature film, I copyrighted my first feature film in 2018, and it needs to be reworked. But definitely, I have been working on it since, but I have to actually sit down and revise it. But there's a point where I start to hate it, and I don't even like to say hate out loud, but I have to go past the point of hatred, like push through that. But all of my art comes out better than I imagine. So if I'm a reflection of the entire universe, like you are, like we all are, in my opinion, in my experience, then why wouldn't this experience we're all having, where it seems like, man, this is a really dangerous time and we're like really teetering over the brink of something awful here, something irreparable, why wouldn't, if that's my experience and probably others' experience too, why wouldn't we imagine that it's going to work out better than we imagine? Why wouldn't we think that that's possible? I mean, if we do art as human beings, however mighty our art is nothing compared to the art of the universe. Or pick your name, whatever you want to call this, doesn't matter, I promise you. But what a mighty art this is that is being wrought in this world right now. And that's the last thing I want to say about that, is that something food for thought. Have you ever considered, as you're walking around on this planet, thinking of the earth as one living organism? And we are all just like a leaf or a branch on a tree or something, like a little flower. Think about that. You walk around, maybe you walk around, if you can go somewhere like a beach or like a forest path and go barefoot, or get yourself a really cool pair of sandals like I have. I think I tried to plug my new sandals one time on one video. I think that was when the camera shut off, but maybe another night. But try to spend some time, maybe if you have a yard with grass, like go walk around in your yard barefoot and think about that as you walk around in your yard. Think about this planet as one living creature, and we're all part of it. Think about, hey, you know what the biggest ocean on this planet is? It's not the Pacific Ocean. It's the ocean of air that you're breathing. It's many times bigger than the Pacific Ocean in terms of volume. It's way bigger, way bigger. We're living in the bottom of an ocean of gas. You ever think about that? We're all breathing the same air. These particles haven't left this planet in billions of years. That's a fact. They don't just drift off into the atmosphere when we pass away. They stay here. This skin was once the part of a tree. This was once the part of a mountain. This part of a bolt of lightning, and this was a cloud, and this was the tooth of a dinosaur. And just like it would be foolish for us to say, oh, this part of my skin is better than all the others. All the other parts of my skin can go to hell. This is the best part of my skin. It's silly like that to idolize one person or other. To say Donald Trump is better, all these people. I've heard someone say Donald Trump is the closest thing to God the other day. I was like, oof, wow, oh, bless your heart. Boy, are you lost in your life right now. Like, wow, how blind could you possibly be? Donald Trump is so miserable. He's so miserable, and his pain is rolling all over our country right now and the world. I mean, nobody even knows what he's fighting this war for. It's like, just because he has to win. We're fighting a war because of the bruised and diseased, withered, twisted ego of a madman right now. He's going and sending our people over there to fight and die against other people that are fighting and dying in their own country, just to protect their own country from us. And they're every right to be afraid. He just took out their leader. And now this guy's son is in power, and we have all these theories about George W. Bush and going after Saddam Hussein, because Saddam Hussein apparently went after his dad. And it's just this madness of this ping pong of this and blame. And you tried to kill my dad, I'm going to try to kill your dad, I'm going to do this, and it's like, enough already. Stop it. Stop. Enough. Snap my fingers 1,000,000 times if that's what it takes. Even if it kills me, I don't care. No more. No more war. Had enough. Whatever your cause is, you've won. You've just imagine you've won. Put it down. Put it down. It should begin with us. If America is first, it should begin with us. And we should be the first to apologize to them. Iran, I'm sorry. I am sorry. We are going to deal with this joker very soon. We are dealing with it right now. I am dealing with it right now. He is fired. It's just taking some time because I don't have, like I heard the senator the other day. He's like, yeah, this is why I sold all my businesses and decided to run for Congress. And I'm like, yeah, well, I really don't want to do that, but we need people. We need people to stand up now who are unflinching when it comes to integrity, who will not compromise their integrity for money. People of unimpeachable moral character. I submit to you that I am incorruptible right here. I cannot be corrupted here because I can't live with it. I can't live with myself lying. I can't live with myself cheating, stealing. I cannot live with myself. I can't do it. I would be haunted. I would be tortured. I can't abide that. I've got to call that person. I've got to tell them I misspoke, or we thought about it, and we thought this is just not the right way to go. The truth is the only path. We'll tell you the truth. This is what happened. We'll get through it together. We would never want you doing this to us, so we were not going to do this to you. We're going to tell you the truth. Even if you lie to us, even if you try to cheat us or steal us, it's all right. We are not going to bring that into the world more, even if you will. Remember what Obama said? When they go low, you go high. That's what he meant. Don't stoop to that. Eye for an eye crap. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Man, I bet you it's 20 minutes already. 26? Gosh. I gotta go get my laundry out. Let's have a sonnet. This one's very quaint. I mean, who knows how long I'm gonna be around. So this is nice to, at least for my peace of mind, we preserve this. And if I'm not around anymore and you're watching this, well, hey, guess what? We did what we could, I also have a dream, just like Martin Luther King did. And my dream is that there will be no more violent conflicts in this world for 100 generations, at least. That it will just be a thing of the past and in classroom textbooks and classrooms talked about. I think I recited my 83rd sonnet to you the other day, one about women's kindness. This one's quaint, and I like it. I might have I think I gave you the couplet for this recently, but I wanted to share this one. This is number 84. Think about this in terms of the context of, think about this in the context of what I've been saying about, like, this is a wave that I'm sending out. We're just doing a wave in a stadium, encouraging you to catch this and pass it along. And if you feel like you're in a trough, waves have crests and troughs, transverse waves do. Compression waves, like, sound are a little different, but yeah, I hope you enjoy this. Do not be waylaid by the troughs that come within one's waves of inspiration. For all things known exist purposes custom tailored to each man, woman, and occasion. Yet rarely do we grasp them. More seldom can one person express reason in ways befitting all. Here in nature's kingdom, nature speaks through everything, and waves are part of everything, as are we. The mind tends to tense, cling, to drop anchor when breakers approach, though time remains to see whether we're borne up or buried under. What about the ground swell? Minds have limits, horizons don't. No doubt best to keep one's wits. And with that, I wish you a restful evening. I wish you peace, real harmony. May all your dreams come true, whoever you are. May we escape this hour in human history escape for the better. May all of these capital crooks and burners of books be reckoned with. May we reckon with them. May we reckon with them in every one of our communities, large and small. May we be less afraid to have the tough conversations and have the courage to breathe through the difficult moments where we feel like yelling. And if we get angry, let us accept that we are angry. And when we calm down, let us be more willing to be humble and say so. I was angry. I was upset. I apologize. I'm human. I don't think we all have to apologize as much as a lot of us do for being human, but it's not like I'm sorry for existing, but we can always accept that we're all human and we all have good and bad days, and that's okay. It's all right. We have too many people in too many governments right now that are too proud and too egocentric, and they will not do that. Donald Trump would never do that. He would never say, hey guys, I was just having a bad day, I'm sorry. Like Walt Whitman said, the proper dynamic is the president taking his hat off to us, not us to them. Donald Trump does not understand that. He is unfit to lead. He needs to be removed from office. I mean, if I'm even hearing Alex Jones talking about it now, that says something. Remember, I said you're not going to feel it right away. It's not a physical shockwave. It's going to be okay, guys. Get some rest, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 28. Okay, good night now.